drive.
Right on time.
Yeah. I figured 15 minutes late was better than just canceling.
I already sent out the tweet. You can't take back a tweet, Sam.
No one ever does that. No one ever tweets
No, no,
something
no.
controversial or
You think someone do just that? Just go on the internet and lie?
yeah.
I don't want to be the first.
Yeah, no one lies on the internet. This is a place of truth.
Yeah, exactly. Can't imagine it. But it sounds like what was it? A fun event?
Which what thing? Taxes? No, taxes weren't fun.
No. Hang out with Amy's family.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, that was really nice. It was good to meet them all. They're all Purdue graduates, aside from her. So
Ooh, they must have been very excited about the Purdue win today.
probably. We had lunch before the game though, because it was lunch. Not a late lunch. It was noon, straight noon. So
traditional lunchtime.
Yeah, but she told me the restaurant yesterday, and it turns out it was 10 minutes from my parents' house. So I was like, oh, hey guys, guess what? Turns out it's not going to be a 45-minute drive. I will be there very quickly. So
that's good.
Yeah.
You got to see your family. That's nice.
Yeah. I just need another weekend, and I got to go to work tomorrow. So do you want to hop into it since we?
Yeah, sure thing.
We well, I say I was late. So hello everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop podcast. This week we're talking about Ultra Rare Volume 1 by Mystery Skulls. We did one Mystery Skulls album before. It was actually the 8th show we did, so it's been a long time.
I was about to say, I remember us doing it, but it was a while ago.
It was a very long time ago. So I've got a bit more history this time because I looked back at the history we did. We did not do him justice. So I'll give a little brief history if you're ready, Cooper.
Yeah, go for it.
So his real name is, I want to say Louis, but it's Luis. So
Louise?
I don't know. He was born in Venezuela, so I'm not sure how that pronunciation would go.
Okay. It's probably Louise then.
Louise
right?
Dubuc Jr., born in 1985. So he was born in a small town in Venezuela, and then his family moved to Canada when he was 8, and then years later to Texas. But for some reason, he went to live in LA.
And the full North American tour, huh?
Yeah. So, and he speaks Spanish. He got to start playing the drums in a couple of bands with his friends, most notably the hardcore unit called 30 called Arson.
Ooh.
It was inspired by artists like Michael Jackson and Daft Punk, other hardcore bands. And he eventually began writing songs on the side. And in 2004, he released his first full-length solo album entitled Antarctica. And then less than a year later, he followed it up with EP This Is Bigger Than You and I. And it had his distinctive electronica laptop pop rock. And then he was publishing as The Secret Handshake at that time. And then he released an EP of Summer of 98. And I think he went on to release, I think it was 6 albums as The Secret Handshake. But then in 2011, he put that to sleep and made music under the name Mystery Skulls. And in 2013, he signed with Warner Brothers Records. And his debut album has collaborations with Nile Rodgers, Adam Lambert, and Avicii. Avicii. I'm not sure who that is.
Adam Lambert. Huh?
Yeah. Is he the one that has the really awkward sexting? Or is it? No, that's Adam Levine. Sorry. So he's released several albums under Mystery Skulls. And he's toured, and he performed at Furry Weekend in Atlanta in 2009.
Wow.
He performed the 4th ending theme of Dragon Ball Super for its English release.
I mean, that's actually pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. That's a pretty big claim to fame. And then, of course, this isn't even getting into the reason I know about him, and the reason many people do, is there are animated music videos about some of his songs. I think it's like a Dark Scooby-Doo, right? And it started with Ghost, which is how I found him, because that came out while I was in high school. And
your Dark Scooby-Doo phase.
No, it's fun. It's different,
Teleports behind you, ruh-roh.
And it's all to the beat of the music. And there's been several that have come out since, and they're still working on them. There's lore for these. It's ridiculous. There's a whole fandom built around the music videos. And of course, I found it. I listened to the music to death, and then I started exploring his other stuff, and some of it is quite good. Some of it is not as good, but we'll get to that. But yeah, that's his history. A little bit more than last time. Last time I think we had a sentence, so I was like, I better say a little bit more.
Give him his due.
Yeah, so I think he has had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 albums under Mystery Skulls. And this is his second album. Well, technically his third. I don't know if we want to count the EP from 2011 titled Mystery Skulls.
EPs aren't albums, technically.
Yeah, but his most recent one was in 2022. I believe I talked about it on a previous podcast as a spare tire. It wasn't the best. You definitely could hear the Weeknd influence seeping in, because they have similar-ish styling somewhat. But I need to go back through. I don't know if I've listened all the way through Back to Life, the 2019 album, but there's several songs on there I like quite a bit. So I need to do that. I'm not very good like you are, Cooper, about listening to the whole discography. I kind of just let the algorithms pick songs from the artist that they think I'll like, and then never explore further than that.
Let the robots decide.
Yeah. But yeah, we can get into it if you're ready with track number 1.
Yeah, track number 1, Dream.
Not the YouTuber.
I would assume. Yeah, the opening track.
This is there's a lot of songs. A lot of songs on this album. 14
tracks. But it's actually not a lot. It's like 45 minutes, so they're just kind of pretty to the point songs.
But I love the strong bass line. He is very skilled at writing the catchy melodies that are sometimes bass and sometimes just the melody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, certainly has a strong kind of like synthy foundation. And his kind of falsetto singing over it.
Yeah,
which is prevalent throughout this album.
I am not the biggest fan of his falsetto singing. That was one of my biggest issues with Beam Me Up. Because he's got a beautiful low-range voice. It's like when we listened to the latest Panic at the Disco album, and the whole thing was in falsetto. It's like, come on, you got a good voice, mix it up, sing low, sing high. Not everything has to be that falsetto. And sadly, it kind of leaned that way on this album for quite a bit of it.
Oh yeah, certainly. This album's like 90-80% falsetto.
Yeah, which is a shame because he's got such a good voice. And I mean, his falsetto's not bad, but spice it up, mixed up a little bit, man.
Obviously, that's the style he's going for.
Yeah.
I will say that one thing I'm glad to know about the rest of the album is this kind of weird, like chipmunk vocal thing that's going on in the background.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that.
You did not. The little kind of almost whiny thing that's going. It's pretty prevalent throughout this entire song.
I really missed it. Granted, this was we had a discussion before we started. I walked in the door and pretty much sat down at this computer, so I was a little stressed. So I might have missed some details in that track number 1. But yeah, we can.
We should went a little hard on the production here. I mean, it's basic, but I think it could be like a little. It's missing some percussion oomph.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we'll get into that as we go through it. There's a couple spots there you can feel the potential, but for some reason, there's just a couple things here or there, like things he does well in other songs. It's like I mean, I hate to draw this connection, but I liken it to Jeff Lynne, you know?
You hate to draw that connection? You just can't stand it.
But, you know, since becoming Jeff Lynne's ELO, yeah, there's been some really good songs, but the best song was when Richard Tandy came back, because then it wasn't just Lynne writing, right? The more minds that are there, the better it was. Not saying he's as good as Jeff Lynne, but I think he's trying to do the whole kit and caboodle, and he just can't quite get all the elements all at the same time.
Sure, right. No man is an island.
Yeah. Jumping to track 2, if you're ready, Coop.
Yeah, track 2, Together.
Which is funny.
Together.
He did it alone.
Let's song about being together. All these songs have very deep meaning, Sam.
Yeah, do they?
Yes.
Most of it is dance.
Well, yeah, you know, like being together.
But we get a little bit of his lower register here, which is nice. Still a little high, but we're getting down, and we'll fully get down by the next song. But man, that saw wave bass going in. It's good, but it kind of gets lost in the sauce.
I kind of appreciate the glitchier aspects of this kind of beat. But yeah, you're right. There's always way in the back, kind of buried under that synth.
And I think the glitchiness is better done on a later track as well. But yeah, the mixing on just some of these is a bit off. This one was okay. There's one later that the mixing is really bad. And the instrumentals are good, but it's just missing that certain je ne sais quoi that it can't carry the last 2 minutes, you know? It's a 4-minute song with about 2 minutes of instrumental, and when you're looping, it's not quite catchy enough to do it by itself.
Yeah, I would say that kind of prevalent throughout the album is, you know, these songs are built. I mean, it's dance music, so they're built around very, you know, catchy but short loops, right? Which obviously doesn't lend itself to extended length, and some are better than others.
Yes. Yeah,
I mean, he'll have fade outs, he'll dropouts. You know, he varies it up a little bit, but you know, they're very, very short loops.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean it makes sense for dance, but some of it's a bit too slow for dance, but we'll get to those. Jumping to track number 3, if you're ready, Coop.
Track number 3, Freaking Out.
Which I believe was the single. Could you tell?
I could.
But it's real pulsing bass again. He loves the kick drum. He can't get enough of the kick drum in this song.
He does like that kick drum.
He probably has to change those out pretty frequently. He pounds on that thing hard.
I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, the kick drum's in there, but it's actually kind of far back in the mix.
It is, but it's all you can feel it almost.
Frankly, I wouldn't mind if he went further into the percussion.
Yeah, it is kind of light on percussion. And I will say the bass line on this one, I love the bass line on this. You get it bumping in the car, it's a good time. Got some variation to it. It's got a lot more style than previous tracks and later tracks. And we get Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and we get even lower his normal voice on this one.
Yeah, it does drop down a little bit, which is nice.
And then, because when he does falsetto, because he does still do a little bit of falsetto in this song, it makes it pop because it's got that vocal depth going on.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I mean, I like I especially like the pretty funky guitar usage. Mm-hmm. You know, there's some chunky guitar riffs in there. Do you kind of wish, you know, kind of went a little heavier into like the wall sound elements? Because I do feel like it's a little thin at points, but I do like it's kind of DJ mixed with the vaporwave kind of aesthetic it's going for.
I mean, I'm a little biased because this is one of the songs that it picks out for me, you know. So I've heard this one many times. Um, but yeah, it's I can see where you're coming from. I do like the outro solo. It really switches it up there at the end. Sitting and analyzing it, it actually is repetitive. But when you're listening to it just to listen, I actually didn't notice how much that solo looped.
Yeah, which I mean, again, aspect of dance music, so I'm not going to fault him too much for it. But yeah,
But yeah,
certain doesn't make the most complex.
Yeah, but you could bust a move to this one.
Bust a move.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna take out your wagon finger.
Yeah.
Do the old scuttlebug or something.
Do the twist.
Might break a hip, Grandpa.
Okay. All right.
I'm older than you.
It's past my bedtime. Jumping to track number
speaking
4.
of bedtime,
Yeah.
Track number 4, In My Sleep.
Again, fun bass and melodic line, but it's a falsetto. Come on, we got one song, two-ish songs away from it, and it just creeps right back in.
Yeah, the guy seems to really like to stick to his falsetto, which, fair, but I do like the songs about him writing this song in his sleep.
Yeah. Did you notice? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm not sure if that's something you want to brag about.
Yeah.
Oh, unless you're saying he's so good at it, he can do this in his sleep.
Did you notice around like the 120-ish mark, it sounded like the instrumental faded back real quick to make room for the vocals?
A little bit. I noticed that a little bit throughout this album where there's like some weird like kind of fading or like going in and out.
That really kind of stuck out. I mean, granted, if you're not sitting and analyzing it, probably wouldn't, but that was really odd to me.
It was kind of an odd. I mean, I didn't dislike it, but it was an odd production choice.
Like, just if you think the instruments are too loud, just turn the vocals up, right? You don't need to fade them back. I don't know. It was just, or just decrease the volume of the song overall. It just it felt odd to me. It maybe if it was a little bit cleaner done, but it was real obvious at that 120 mark, and it, like you said, it happened some other places in the album too.
So yeah, it didn't really have any rhyme or reason from what I could see, but
Yeah, I mean, this one has a fun lick, but there's not a whole lot else going on. And the vocal line is pretty repetitive.
It's a nice little guitar solo thing. I thought that was fun.
Yeah. Overall, fairly nice song.
Over to track number 5 then.
Yes.
Keep It. No. Yeah, Keep It Together.
Yes, Keep It Together.
Not Get It Together, which is later in the album.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
That's right. I was because I always got them mixed up. No, Keep It Together.
Different songs.
Yes, all these song names are very original.
Yeah. Like
Got You and Higher. I'm sure no one's ever named a song Higher before.
No, never. There's one song which is just another. We'll get to that one. But Keep It Together. There's some weird fading in this one as well. Once it popped out in the last one, my ears were pricked up to it. It started bugging me just because of how often it was happening.
Yeah, I don't know what to say beyond it just like happens randomly. I couldn't really find any rhyme or reason to it.
Because initially it seemed like it was he's turning down the instruments to make way for the vocals, but then sometimes he doesn't. It was just very, very strange. We get some good variation at the 2-minute mark in this one, though, with some duetting guitars that are playing against the really old school sounding synth. I kind of wish that idea was taken a bit further. It kind of feels
this guitar versus synth angle.
Yeah, it was very nice, and they both had really good lines, but it wasn't fully fleshed out. It was like the start of an idea.
Yeah, I mean, he uses guitar throughout this album, I think, fairly effectively. even if I kind of wish he dug into it further.
Yeah. I think he just needs it. Quite a few of the songs just needed a little bit more growth. This one almost had
a little more oomph.
Yeah, there wasn't. What you got at the start was kind of what you got at the end in a lot of them. And this one had that variation in the middle where if he had taken it just a little bit farther, I think it would have made the song a lot better.
Yeah, I do wish the songs, maybe that's part of it, is the songs are pretty, like you said, pretty. what you get is what you get.
Yeah, that's what it says on the tin.
But not necessarily a bad thing, but doesn't exactly leave you one and more like, oh, like you should listen. I find a little, a little nuance, right? Kind of like, okay, yeah, this is what you got.
But yeah, that's really all I had for that one.
All right, then we'll move on to track number 6 then, Soul on Fire. Which, speaking of pretty simple refrains here.
I was more distracted by the screwy vocals on this one. He like duplicated and pitched himself up to sound like a children's choir, but it sounds demonic.
Honestly, that's a good description of it. But I mean, I guess if you're going for a little creepy, it's not like, the spooky angle is not a bad angle to take, but I'm not sure if that's what he was going for.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, it didn't seem like what he wanted. And this one isn't quite fast enough to be dance. But the bass line is really great. I don't know. It feels like he's got this standard formula that he uses to make songs. And while all the songs are different, each component is kind of like plug and play. And sometimes the variables are right, but it's hard to tell whether it'll be hit or miss. Yeah,
I mean, I'm kind of with you on that, where it certainly seems like he has he's good at a particular type of song and he sticks to it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's something to, playing to your strengths, but at the same time, your whole album is just one thing throughout it. Certainly becomes samey.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but the last minute of this has that kind of breakdown thing going on where he's got the looping vocals, the piano, and then the synth comes in as time goes on. I think if he had just put a few more instruments building on that, that would have really saved the song, in my opinion. Because I really enjoyed that section.
Yeah, I like the outro. I just wish it was, the whole song.
Yeah.
Because the first 2/3, 3/4 of the song are the same as other songs.
Yeah. We can jump to track 7.
Track 7, Higher.
If I could spell it right. Man, this is some real egregious, super high falsetto.
I mean, it's perfect to the name of the song, right?
Yeah, but still, man, he's really trying to get up there. I mean, we got a fun synth solo around the 120 mark, but it's kind of simple compared to other themes. And then the song is just kind of, you cut the song in half in the middle, and that's the song, and he just kind of put it double. He put it twice, and that was the whole song.
Yeah, I mean, this one's got some nice guitar, but yeah, it's he definitely leans to the falsetto, which I'm not the biggest fan of either ways. And yeah, the production's, it's fine. There's no like super bad production. I mean, some weird fade out stuff, but this one certainly has some very boilerplate energy to it.
Yeah. It doesn't really do much to drive the rating higher. Get it?
No, I don't.
Anyway, track number
8. Track number 8, Get It Together.
Different song.
Not to be confused with track number 5, Keep It Together.
Yes.
This one's really cute.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. No, you go.
I was going to say, this one is very different right off the bat. We get much clearer vocals, some odd piano sound, and some electric guitar, which is no synth so far. And then it really builds to that first breakout moment around the 1 minute-ish mark, and we swap the bass synth for bass guitar, which is really quality. I really dig the sound of this one.
No, I think it's pretty fun. Yeah, it's almost got a yeah, the lack of synth kind of makes it have a little bit more of a throwback dance feel.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something a little more, 2000s, and the fact that it's like just very focused on kind of like just a danceable like drum and guitar line. Of course, it still has the weird feet out stuff that he's ought to do. But I like the elements of funk that are kind of sprinkled throughout.
Yeah. Yeah, we get the hard samples, cuts add a lot of character as well. I really like that. I also really enjoyed the main theme of September from Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That I was also just about to say. Maybe it reminds me of that because it sounds those ah sound exactly like.
It's the same notes, Cooper. I'll be honest with you. If you listen to them side by side, it's the same notes.
It sounded very familiar.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's a homage, or homage. But yeah, I mean, I like that. It's a good vocal line.
Yeah, it is. I really enjoyed this track, but I'm like, yeah, the main theme is just September. You know that, right?
It is a pretty big, just change it enough that it doesn't sound like plagiarism.
Yeah, I mean, it's Scream singing the same notes, and then even the notes right after are very. I think he changed like one of them. So, I mean, I like the song. It's really good. It's just that was kind of when that came out, I was like, hold on, wait 1 second there. Hold on. But overall,
yeah. It's kind of. I mean, it definitely feels kind of coffee-ish, but
it's
whatever.
It's a fun track. I liked it.
Oh yeah.
Jumping to track number 9.
Yeah, track number 9, "Got You."
No, it's "Got You," Cooper, not "Got You."
No, I said "Got You."
That's what you said. Got. It's
yeah,
got
I got
you, not got,
got
you.
you. Yeah, I got you.
No. There's no CH in there.
I'm not saying it's "got you."
Got you.
Got? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're saying the same thing, Sam.
Say cool.
Cool.
Now say whip.
I don't Family Guy funny moments me.
That's for Jonah if he ever happens to get this far. He's probably
in the song
right now.
"Got You."
But we got some, again, fun synth settings for the main line and the bass again, but otherwise it's kind of thin.
A little, but I also really dig the kind of the deep funky synths on this one.
Yeah, but this one's mixed really poorly, I think. The bass and main are way too far back, and the hi-hat is in the front.
Oh, I like that they're pulling the percussion forward.
Really? It just feels wrong.
It's been so absent from the rest of the album. I think it's a fresh pace. Plus, I really like that synth line on the chorus.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I was not a fan of this one.
Oh wow! Come on, you didn't like that little synth sting that follows the chorus?
Oh, it's fine, but it's just the mixing really took me out of it. There's a couple sections that were just so thin that I personally, just because I'm not starved for water here, the percussion is not my water. The percussion was trying to do the heavy lifting in some of the very thin sections, and it didn't work for me.
Okay, fair enough.
And I don't think it deserves a fade at the end either, but that's just me.
My songs deserve a fade.
Some do. They're shit.
Yeah, okay.
End of side A of Dark Side of the Moon.
Well, yeah, that's the end of a side.
Yes,
yeah, sure.
Some songs deserve a fade. That's what I said, isn't that?
Also, it feels unfair to compare this to Dark Side of the Moon.
You asked for an example, I gave you an example. Anyway, track 10, if you're ready.
I am.
555.
Track 10. Oh, no. I'm just going to pause here because it's the number to that.
Oh, sorry.
555. Or 555.
Not track 10,555. Track 10. 555.
555.
God, can you imagine if there was an album with over 10,000 tracks?
I feel like it'd be a pretty bad album.
Probably. Unless like each note, I could see like some concept art album where each track was a single note or something like that, a single bar.
Even then, a 10,000-second song, 10,000-second long album is still pretty long. Good concept, though.
Yeah. Maybe each song, quote unquote, is 1,000 seconds, and that you're split up into 10 tracks, but it's actually 11,000 tracks.
Huh. I'm sure someone's probably done something similar to this.
Yeah. If not, we can copyright it. Anyway.
The track 555.
This song feels a lot longer than 3 minutes, I'll be honest with you.
Sounds like 555 minutes.
Yeah.
Ayo. Yeah, this one's got that loop, oft-repeated Lil synth sting, loop thing going on. That just is throughout the album, or throughout the song, I should say.
Yeah, it's I didn't have much for this. It's just kind of samey. It didn't really have any secret sauce to make it stick out or special. It's just kind of there. It's not bad. It's just kind of like, okay, yeah, I've heard all of this elsewhere.
So how about we move on then to track number 11, if you're ready, Sam?
I am.
Track number 11, Losing My Soul.
Not Soul on Fire.
Losing My Soul.
Well, yeah, if it's on fire, you're going to lose it probably.
No, this is the story arc. No, this one, I think it has a little more dynamic piano stuff going on here. It's a very bassy synth throughout it.
Yeah, I really like the traditional piano against the heavy synth sound. While I do wish he had used that more, at the same time, I think it would have lost its magic if he overused it. So I think you got to strike the balance of leave them wanting more, but not overusing it.
Fair.
And this one sounds like he's trying to branch out of dance, but the bass line so badly wants to be in a dance song.
I think he's trying that hard to break out of dance.
No, but the bass line really wants it to be like a really bop and dance song, and the rest of the song is not.
He's not following.
It's like the bassist just wasn't playing it. I know it's him, but it's like it's a band, and the bassist wasn't paying attention to which track they were doing.
I mean, it's a fine song. I mean, I think the vocals are fine on this one. They're a lot less falsetto-y.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like the egregious falsetto is kind of front loaded. It's not as bad towards the back end.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we can move on then to the next track if you're ready.
I am.
Track number 12, Fake. Which does start off with a little bit of energy.
Yeah. I'll admit, I was desperately trying to finish the album at this point, because at this point it was 8:02. Writing all the stuff down, because I had listened to it, but I hadn't written it down because I didn't think I was going to be gone today. But for me, I just wrote, it's there. It has a little bit more progression than previous tracks, which I enjoyed.
Little fun things. It does sound pretty similar to a lot of the other songs.
It does, yes.
I still like the guitars. The synth's still fun. But this guy really is a formula that he sticks to.
Like I said, he's got his equation and he just plugs in the different things. They all sound different, but they eventually, after the 14 song album, it gets a little samey. Jump into 13
pretty fun,
if you're ready.
Yeah, track number 13, Every Note demo version. I don't know why this is called a demo version.
I don't know.
Because it sounds like all the other songs.
It does. My favorite part was slowing down the end of the song that was already kind of slow to begin with. That was still trying to sound like dance.
Maybe they got rid of that in the official version.
Yeah, maybe.
The synth breakdown at like the 220 mark.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's pretty fun.
It's a good song. It's just that ending really kind of took the wind out of the sails. I was wanting it to like pick up just a little bit, and it just slowed down. I was like, oh, come on, man. Slowing down into the last track that's kind of on a dance album. Come on.
It's not the last track on the album.
No, the last track is an outro, which we could do now. Track 14.
Yeah, track 14. This movie of the year. It's all one word.
And it's not a song. It's an outro.
It's an outro, which is fine for an album to have an outro.
Yeah, it's a minute and a half, but it's only got 2 bars.
It's different.
I think it's interesting.
I think it's interesting. I mean, it's kind of a slower, twinkling, kind of almost forlorn song, which I mean, it definitely is on the rest of the album.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting way to end a dance album. I'll give him that. It's not what I would have picked.
But I mean, odd ending, but you know, it's an ending.
It's certainly an ending. Yes.
Yeah, at least went for something.
Yeah. And that's the album.
That's the full album.
So Cooper, what would you say your least favorite track was?
I wasn't a big fan of Higher.
Yeah.
It wasn't my favorite track. I mean, it wasn't like terrible. There's no like unlistenable song on this album.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot like Snail's House that we reviewed last week.
Movie.
Yeah. Last weekend. Where, you know,
waveforms again, Cooper.
I've told you this already. It's the best way to digest music is visually. I also only listen to movies with my eyes closed.
Uh-huh.
And I taste books.
Of course you do.
No. I mean, yeah, there's not like terrible songs or unlistenable songs in this album, but that also kind of speaks to its homogenous stylings.
Yeah, it's not insultingly homogenous like Imagine Dragons Origins, which was so bad that they got fan backlash, and I think they actually fixed their style now. I heard the latest album they came out with was actually really good, or a lot better.
I'm all for an artist like backtracking on a sound that no one likes.
Mm-hmm. But this isn't. I wouldn't say that's this level. It's just a lot of samey.
No. It's hard to meet something that bad.
Yeah.
No, but what about your favorite track, Sam?
What about my least favorite, though?
Well, it's going to be Higher, right? Is it not?
I also Got You. I was not a fan of Got You.
Okay.
I know you rated that one pretty highly, but for favorite, I've got to say Freaking Out. It's very good, and I've listened to it for a very long time. But also, Get It Together was also quite good. Granted, it's probably because it's just Earth, Wind, and Fire, but
which I mean, fair, sure.
But I really like it's very different from everything else, and I really like how he writes funk bass. That is my favorite kind of funk bass line that he did there. What about you, Coop? What's your favorite?
Mine's Got You. Which I mean, I don't get why you don't like it. Teach their own, I suppose. But I think it's got I really like the kind of the main chorus, that synth line. I really dig the funky, deep synth pop that's got going. Got this descending drum line. I thought it was mixed fine. I'm not sure about you. I mean, you were in a hurry, so maybe
I think you were just
something.
jonesing for some percussion, I think is what it was. And he gave you a little taste of it, and you wet your pants.
I did not wet my pants because of that.
We'll just let that hang. But this is a first, I think. I don't think one of us has ever rated the other's favorite as their least.
Yeah, typically we're at least a little in agreement on that. But hey, you know, Mystery Skulls are just so diverse, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's got some real bright moments on it, and the meh moments are just kind of meh. You know, there's nothing that's egregious.
Yeah, it's a very smooth or maybe level album.
Yeah.
In that aspect.
Yeah. But we got to rate it now, Cooper.
It's true. It's true.
And would you mind introducing the rating system?
Oh, I'd love to. Because, here on the Audio Shop podcast, Sam was late today, of course, because he was working on his old jalopy.
Mm-hmm.
And, when he's down there with the oil and gas, he just loses track of time. He was once there for 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot of time to work on my replica Herbie car.
Yep. The sentience is the hard part.
Mm-hmm.
He's really been trying to figure that one out. As soon as he captures enough horse souls, that's the souls of horses. That's what horsepower is made of.
Yes. Yeah, that's not even getting into the sentience aspect.
Yeah. But of course, that means we have a car-themed podcast. So at the tip top, the cream of the crop, we got Showroom. This is, your best of the best, that you want to listen to it every day kind of album. Then all the way at the bottom, you've got Scrapyard. This is the ooh, yeah, get it away from me. I don't even want to touch it. It's bottom of the barrel. But then we have like new Fixer Upper, Use Rental in between. And we'll give it like a high or low depending on our feelings for that day. So with that being said, Sam, what would you rate this album?
I think this one is a pretty firm Fixer Upper. The highs aren't that high, but the lows are not that low. Like you were saying, it is a very mid album. I think it's got a couple of real good tracks in there that you should give a listen, like Get It Together and Freaking Out. And according to Cooper, Got You, but I wouldn't say probably skip that one. But otherwise, it's just kind of, it's not bad, but it's not great. What about you?
I agree. I think Fixer Upper, maybe a high Fixer Upper from Feeling Generous. Mm-hmm. But yeah, very, very level album. Like I said, not, it doesn't really have any peaks or valleys, but, sometimes that's part of the fun of the ride, right?
Yeah.
Is that there's at least, variety, it doesn't always succeed, right? We've certainly listened to artists that have swung for the fences and completely struck out. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if you just make the same song 14 times in a row or close to that, can lead to a very samey album experience, right? Very vanilla.
I think you're giving him a little bit of disservice there. Get It Together was a Earth, Wind, and Fire song, Cooper. It's not.
Okay. Still one song.
And to be fair, it was one of the best songs on the album, too.
Yeah, which, if you're going to steal from the best, right?
Yeah.
Was it the old saying, all art is theft?
Yeah.
Maybe some more obvious than others, but
hey, we're not creating anything here other than regurgitating other people's art, so
hey, we're giving real opinions
that no one wants.
that I've plugged into the chat AI bot ahead of time.
Oh God,
and then
yeah, we
verbatim.
could probably automate this, couldn't we?
Oh man, what if we got more viewers from that?
That would be depressing, honestly. We could go back. We've got all of the previous episodes saved. We just voice synthesize ourselves, plug say review this album, plug all the tracks in, and just see what it spits out, and then it just does it itself.
It's only a matter of time before we have the first AI hosted podcast.
I thought we already had some of those. Isn't the Needle Drop hosted by a computer?
That's a real human man.
Oh.
He has opinions and wears flannel. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't watch him. Oddly enough, I do a music podcast and don't listen to the Needle Drop.
Come on, Sam. You're a white man in your 20s. You have to listen to.
I'm a real. I'm an outlaw.
I guess you are making a podcast, so that kind of makes up for
I know. It. Yeah.
And you're getting into craft beers.
I know. God, I'm in my 30s already. Oh no. I was looking at buying a grill too. Oh no. I wanted to get a smoker. I need to build a deck.
I could retile the roof. It's looking a little shabby. That'll be next spring's project. You're probably wearing khaki pants right now.
No, I'm actually wearing pajama pants.
Khaki pajama pants.
No. But that's the album. That's our rating of it. hopefully you enjoyed it. Now we're going to roll on over to the spare tire, which is just whatever else we've been listening to this past week. Cooper, why don't you go first, because I'm sure you've got quite a bit more than I have.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this week, been a bit busy, so I haven't listened to anything too new. Honestly, I don't think I listened to a complete full new album this week.
Oh, wow.
Which is rather rare.
I got you beat.
Just, I mean, I've been listening to some music that I've liked, been kind of relaxed there. So yeah, I don't want to lie and make something up. So, I'll say, a little scarce on the full new listens this week. But, going back, listening to some classics and listening to some Japanese music. Give a Capsule a listen if you haven't. The band. But yeah, what about you, Sam?
Early in the week, I hit a lot of random Paul McCartney and Wings. It would just, for some reason, the radio aspect of Spotify finally worked, and it would just play, a bunch of related songs. So I listened to a bunch of Paul McCartney. And then I also gave, oh crap, I lost the album title. It was, oh, come on, tell me what I listened to. Hurry Up, We're Dreaming by M83.
83.
You would recognize Midnight City. The SpongeBob meme, stepping on the beach with the song. That's Midnight City. But I gave that a listen at Amy's suggestion, and it was pretty good. It's a very, very late 2000s, early 2010s, but not bad. It's kind of almost.
That was our time to thrive, Sam. That's when music was.
Yeah.
I think you've always said that the late 2000s, early 2010s was the best time for
Thankfully,
music.
this is bucking the mold. It's indie from that time, so it's not not what was on the radio. I mean, I think Midnight City was, but it's kind of shoegaze-esque almost. But it was nice just to have on the background. Very, very calm, not too crazy. It's a long album. Hour and 13 minutes. Like, I can't even count. It looks like there's maybe like 18 tracks or something like that. Maybe 20. There's a lot going on. But it was pretty good.
That's good. Glad you enjoyed a nice new album.
Yeah, I listened to a little bit more Cracker Island too. Keep being disappointed and just wanting more at the same time. But that's all I got. You got anything else, Coop?
No, that's it for me.
So if you've liked what you've heard for some reason and you want to listen to some more, if you're on the Twitch, you can scroll down, click the picture of Jeff Lynne. He's the guy with the fake afro and the aviators. That'll take you to YouTube, where almost all the past episodes are. And you can listen there. And if you're listening on YouTube and you want to check us out live, Sundays 8 p.m. Eastern, usually 8 p.m. Eastern, you can click in the description and it'll take you to our Twitch. Give us a follow, and then, Cooper, where can they hear about what we're going to be listening to next?
Well, you can give us a follow at Audio Shop Pod. That's POD on Twitter. We'll let you know what we're listening to and when we're listening to it. Approximately. Sometimes we're a little late. We've got busy lives, yeah. I'm sure. But we'll generally hit for that time frame.
Yeah.
And you can get the album a listen beforehand if you want to.
Yeah, then call us out about our really bad takes, which has happened. Somebody on YouTube, called us out about our Billie Eilish review, which was one of our first. And I read it.
Which,
and I was like, yeah, no, he's right.
It was our first, so you know.
We were not saying we're much better now, but we were much worse then.
Marginally better.
Yeah. And you will be around next weekend, right, Coop?
No.
I
will have a wedding, so.
Right. So we are not going to be back for quite some time then. Because no next weekend, the 19th, no 26th, and no 2nd.
Yep. So it's going to be at least a solid 1, 2, 3. It's going to be a solid month till our next one.
Yeah.
Woo-wee.
Yeah. So the next one should be on the 9th. And this was 98. So hopefully it should line up where Cracker Island and our anniversary line up. 100th episode and anniversary line up. Which we will be doing Cracker Island for, of course. Got to do Gorillaz album for that.
Got to do Gorillaz. And we got a new one, so
we got it. Yeah, exactly. And we got a new one. But yeah, so I'll see you guys back here on the 9th, and I'll see you, Cooper, hopefully sooner than that, elsewhere.
Yeah, so hopefully you join us then.
Till then, we will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.
See ya.